Hey everybody, and welcome to part 6 of the Minecrafters Bee Breeding Guide. I'm Captain Jack, and in episode 6 we're going to be talking about genetics, and there's going to be a lot to cover in this episode, so let's get going. We're going to cover the Genepool, Isolator, Synthesizer, the Purifier, Innoculator, Acclimatizer, Splicer, Replicator, and the Sequencer in almost no particular order. Now, before we go ahead and start playing with these machines, let's learn how to make a few basic components. We're going to go ahead and go over to our carpenter here that is full of water, and we are going to take 6 redstone and 1 tin and pop it in there, and that's going to create this little circuit board for us. Okay, we got a basic circuit board. What we're also going to do is, after we make a couple basic circuit boards, we're going to go ahead and put some bronze in the middle, and we're going to make some more circuit boards. And this one's just a little bit more advanced, and it's going to be required to make certain machines that we are about to use. So, okay, this is an enhanced circuit board. So now that we know how to make that, what we're also going to need to know how to do is to make these empty serum vials. And that's going to take some royal jelly, some gold ingots, and some glass panes. And each one of these recipes is going to give you 2. Okay, you can also do this, but we're not going to talk about that. This is what you're going to want to do. Royal jelly, gold, and glass panes, 2 empty serum vials. So get a bunch of these serum vials. We're going to be using a lot of them, and yeah, they are going to be important, okay? So now that we know how to make those, the first machine that you're going to want to make when you're about to dive headfirst into genetics is the Genepool. And the Genepool is going to allow you to turn extra bees into DNA. And I have a huge tank full of it here. You're probably never going to have this much DNA just because it's so hard to get from squeezing these bees, but that's it. This is the Genepool, okay? To make the Genepool, you are going to need to put some glass, 4 tanks, 2 gold ingots, a redstone, and this genetic machine. Now, that's what we just made those parts for, because the genetic machine is going to require these basic circuit boards, some iron, a lapis, and an Apiarist machine. And we've already gone over the Apiarist machine. It's some sturdy casing. Actually, maybe we haven't. The redstone and the bronze here, okay? But you have NEI, you can look this stuff up yourself. I'm not going to go into detail too much on how to make these, but that's what you'll need. Once you have the Genepool, you're going to want to hook it up to power, and you're probably going to want to hook it up to some type of like liquid transport system. I have liquiducts attached to the top of this railcraft tank, and basically what this does is it squishes your bees and turns them into DNA, and it's going to use a little bit of power. This has an internal storage of 2000 MJ. It's going to take Buildcraft power. It's going to take this bee, it's going to put it in there, and it's going to squish it into liquid DNA, and you can see it's 5% full. Okay? Now, this is a bealized bee, and bealized bees are always going to give you a little bit more liquid DNA than bees that are not bealized. And furthermore, princesses or queens are going to give you a lot more DNA than the regular drones. And that's just because they're much more valuable. You don't want to squish all your princesses. You mainly want to squish the drones. But just to show you what's going on here, I'm going to throw a Meadows princess that is bealized into the Genepool, and we'll see how much we get. So a bealized drone gave us 5%. And a bealized queen gave us 15 or 25%. 25%. So that's a lot of liquid DNA. Not really too much when you put it in this machine here. I'm going to click it. Away it goes. Into my tank that's probably full and can't hold any more. No, it's not. There it goes. Okay. Anyways, so you can put a bunch of bees over here, and what it'll do is it will slowly consume these bees, turn it into liquid DNA, and that's the stuff that's really going to allow us to get into the next phase of bee breeding. I have my liquid DNA hooked up to a liquid tesseract, so I can transport this liquid DNA anywhere in the world once I have it. You can put a hopper on top of this if you just want to put tons of bees inside the hopper. You can load up this area here. There is no longer a bug where it'll just consume the whole stack. You can put stacks of bees in here, no problemo, okay? But that hopper will really help you to not have to watch this machine too much. You can also hook it up to Applied Energistics, okay? So once we squish our bees and we turn them into liquid DNA, we're going to start using this DNA, and we're going to do some pretty cool stuff, okay? The first thing we're going to do, and probably not many people have talked about these in their other bee breeding tutorial series, but we're going to talk about them here. It's the sequencer and the splicer. Let's see how to make them. The sequencer is right here. It's going to take blocks of glowstone. It's going to take this genetic machine again, okay, just like that. And the splicer is a little bit more complicated, a little bit more expensive, but that's the going to take a genetic machine, some diamonds, some tanks, glass, redstone, okay? These machines are going to be pretty complicated. These are high-powered. Please keep this in mind. These are high-powered machines. These are going to suck a ton of power. I did make that mistake the first time I dove headfirst into bee breeding. I basically shut down our base because I was using too many of these machines because they are power hogs. All right, the sequencer. What we're going to need to do to make this sequencer work is we're going to need some blank templates. And let me grab one of these here, and I'm going to show you how to make a blank template. You're going to need some of this honeydew and 4 glass panes. And honeydew just comes from those dripping combs. You're going to get a lot of honeydew. Don't worry about it. No matter what bees you have, I guarantee you're going to have honeydew, so it's not really a big deal. I will say before we get too deep into this little machine that this is not necessary, and this is not typically one of these steps that I guess bee breeders take in the genetic process, but these are 2 machines that I do want to show you. Anyways, just so you know what they do. So we're going to get these blank templates by putting some honeydew surrounded by glass panes. And we're going to go ahead and put those templates in the side here, and this is going to yell at me, and it's going to say that there's no bee to sequence. So if we take a bee and put it over there, it's going to go from this slot automatically to this slot over here. And what it's going to do, and we're probably going to need some more princesses here, so I'm going to grab those. There we go. Let's make sure, oh, they're unknown. Let's beelize them real quick with our beelizer. So you're going to be using this thing. It's really important. All right, here we go. This bee has disappeared. This little progress bar has gone all the way to the right, and we have a little bit of this this thing here filled up. So we're going to put, let's say, one of these here. Oh no, a bee does not match our current species. And that's because I used a forest. So that was a big mistake. So let me grab some forest princesses, and I'm going to beelize them because just like the Genepool, this machine is going to like beelized bees a lot more, and it's going to give you a lot more progress in that bar to the right over here. So let's go ahead and put that in there. It's the right kind of bee now, and this is going to take a little while. And what this is going to do is when this gets all the way to the top, it's going to give us a template for a forest princess. And just so you see what that looks like, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Template for a forest princess, okay? And it's going to give us this average quality template. And you can do this for all of the mundane bees. You can see here that there's actually, common is not a mundane bee, but you can still use it. Wintry, tropical, modest, meadows, forest, water, rocky, okay? And you can see that that gave us a huge boost. Let's go ahead and put one more. It might take 2 more. So I'm going to prep another one and get it ready to go. And we're going to put it in the sequencer. And once this is done, it's going to give us a forest template. So I'm going to take these out here because I was playing with this a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a forest template because that's what we're going to get from this bee. And I really don't want to wait on camera. And you're going to take this template and plop it right there. Okay? If you check this here, it's going to say, oh, we have no bee to splice. And we're going to want to start splicing the bees. So what does the splicer do? Well, let's find out. If we put a Meadows Princess over there, what's going to happen is this little progress bar is going to start going up and up and up and up, and there's a chance that inside this splicer, the Meadows Princess is going to be spliced with this forest template, and it's going to become a forest princess, okay? So we're going to change this over into a completely different species. Okay, there we go. We have our good quality forest template, which is different from the average quality. This is the only one that you can spawn in. So let's see if it happens on the first try. And it's not guaranteed. And I'm almost positive that you can actually lose this bee in this process. But that is an unconfirmed report. And that might be old news. Let's see if it does it. Let's see if it doesn't. It's almost there. It usually takes a few tries. Yes, it does. Let's get a good quality one in there. Okay. And we'll see what happens. And we'll come back to this thing, but basically what happens is this Meadows Princess is going to turn into a forest princess. And I've actually played around with this splicer a little bit, and it's become a hybrid, like a meadows hybrid, meadows forest hybrid. I'm not sure if that's supposed to happen. It may have something to do with the quality of your template. Maybe I was just using an average quality template and it made a hybrid instead. But what this is going to be primarily used for, if you choose to use it, is when you have quarries going, you're going to get a ton. And when I say a ton, I mean like hundreds and hundreds of rocky bees. And you're going to have rocky princesses, you're going to have tons of rocky drones, and those are really useful because this splicer is going to take the qualities of this meadow princess or the genome of this meadows princess, break it down, and transfer it into a forest bee. So the productivity of this bee is going to get placed into the forest template, or traits like that the rocky bees have, like nocturnal or cave dwelling. You know, that stuff's going to get transferred into these new princesses that you make. So if you want to start like from the bottom and start doing your commons with your mundanes to get the cultivateds, and then your cultivateds with the commons, if you want to go all the way back to ground zero, this would be a really cool block to use to turn all those rocky drones and rocky princesses that you've gotten from your quarries into bees that are actually kind of useful. So that's one of the uses of this splicer here, and hopefully this happens. If it doesn't, we are going to move on, because there we go. We got a forest princess. That's pretty cool. Let's beelize this baby. There we go. It's a forest. Typically, forest princesses have a 3x fertility rate. Let's drop one of these in here. There we go. I wasn't lying to you. So the qualities of the meadows princess transferred over into a forest princess via this template. So that's what the sequencer and splicer do. And we'll come back to this replicator in 1 second. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to start getting serum vials, and that's why we made these things here. We're going to start getting serum vials, and we're going to load them with traits that we are going to want to use to make the perfect bee. And you saw that radioactive bee that I showed you at the end of the last episode, and how awesome the traits and qualities of that bee was. Well, I basically got it by following this 4-step program, okay? What you're going to want to make first, and this is step 1, and it's called the Isolator. And if I can find it here, the Isolator is made, unfortunately, by using 3 diamonds and some blaze rods along with this advanced genetic machine. And the advanced genetic machine is going to use this enhanced circuit board that we just made, along with the diamond and some gold ingots and a genetic machine, okay? So the Isolator is step 1. And basically what the Isolator does is it checks out what traits are inside these bees. So this forest drone has a shorter lifespan, the slowest speed, slower pollination, and so on and so forth. And what it's going to do is it's going to isolate, just like the name implies, it's going to isolate one of these traits and put it into a serum vial for us. So I'm going to load this up, and again, this is going to take MJ. And these machines are power hogs. Now I have it hooked up to an endless source of power, so we're not going to lose it during this episode. But they take a lot of power, so be really careful when you start firing up these bees. It can be a huge drain in your system. Okay, so it's going to take the traits of this forest drone, and eventually this forest drone is not going to be able to handle the isolation process, and it's going to die. And it's there's an undetermined amount of serums that can come out of one bee. It's basically random. I've gotten 6 serums out of a bee. I've gotten 1 serum out of a bee before it dies. So that's what's happening here. We're isolating traits. So we put our empty serum vials right here, and I just stopped that process, and it'll yell at you if there's none here. But we put our empty serum vials here, and you can see here that we have 2 serums that have come out of here. We have the no humidity tolerance serum, and we have the effect cancellation serum. Now, not all of the things that we're going to get here are actually useful, because sometimes you get like the slowest productivity, but you don't want to inoculate a bee with the slowest productivity. You want to use it, you want to get the fastest, you want to get the uber bees. Let's take this effect cancellation serum, for instance here. Since these bees don't have any effect, like the creeper effect or the poison effect that'll poison you or cause radioactive damage to you, or so on and so forth, if you isolate, and we're getting a lot out of this bee, if you isolate the effect of a bee that has no effect, you're going to get the effect cancellation serum. And what you can do is you can use this to remove negative effects from bees, like the austere bees that have the creeper effect and will blow you up. You can just take that right out of those bees, so you don't have to worry about walking by a beehive and exploding randomly all the time. Okay, here we have a shorter lifespan serum, and that's all we're going to get. We're only going to get the traits that this bee holds, so we're going to get some pretty crappy ones. This one's not too bad, the flowering, slower flowering serum. Actually, no, I was thinking of something else. Here's what you really want out of these bees, and this is what we're going to go for once we start getting into the real heavy, hardcore crossbreeding and the creation of new species. I can't believe this thing still hasn't died yet. Okay, high fertility, that's really good. It's not the maximum fertility, but that's a real good one to have. But we have this forest species serum, and there is a chance that every species of bees that you put inside of this isolator is going to give you the species serum. And I will recommend that you take every one of your bees and isolate that species trait from your bees and put them in a separate chest, just in case if you lose that bee for whatever reason, that you're always going to have that serum. Okay, so for this demonstration, we're going to go ahead and use the forest species. And there we go, the bee finally died. Holy crap, or maybe two died and I just didn't realize it. And we're going to go ahead and synthesize the serum that we have gotten. So let's check out the synthesizer here. Some soul stand, redstone, a tank, that advanced genetic machine again, along with some glass. And that will make step 2, the synthesizer. And what this does is it synthesizes these serums that you've got here, and all you have to do is put it inside of here, and it's going to start chugging away. And it's also going to use some liquid DNA. So I have behind here, you can barely see it, I have a couple tesseracts hooked up to the synthesizer and the purifier to keep them full of liquid DNA at all times, because that's what we need from the gene pool. We need liquid DNA. And this little graphic is going to come up here, and this is going to change slowly, and it's going to raise in charges up to, I think, 16 or 15, 17, something like that charges. I forget. I don't know why. But every time you synthesize this, it's going to add a charge to it. And basically the charges reflect the amount of times that you can use this to try to inoculate a bee, which is the last and final step of this process. Now, you just saw that it changed from average to poor quality, and that's because the longer that you synthesize your serums, the poorer in quality they're going to get. And I believe that the poorer quality serums have less and less and less of a chance to successfully inoculate a bee. But again, we're going to go ahead and talk about that in just 1 second, okay? So let's leave it at that. We'll stay at 3 charges. I don't want to watch the entire thing go up, and I know you don't want to listen to me talk for a long time. But next, we're going to go ahead and put it in a purifier. And the purifier is going to use a massive, holy crap, ton of energy, and I might have hooked that up wrong. Clearly, we're not getting what we need. And it's basically going to increase the quality. So there we just went from poor quality back to average quality. And this is going to increase the quality all the way up to excellent quality. So let's check out how to make the purifier real quick here. It's going to require some gas tiers, more tanks, another advanced genetic machine, and a redstone. It's going to require power, and I have power on the bottom. And it's also going to require that liquid DNA. So we put it through the purifier, and the less power that you have flowing to this machine, the slower this process is going to go. But we're at average quality right now. Yeah, right now it's really chugging. I'm not sure why. So let's go ahead. See what I mean by these things take up a lot. I'm going to just break this down here. Let me take this out. These things are intense. They take an intense amount of power. There we go. We'll load that back up. Put the serum back in. Let's see if we can't get another quality increase on this purifier here. I think it'll go from average to good quality, and then from good to excellent quality. Average to good, okay? And then I'm not going to wait for it to go to excellent quality. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab a high fertility serum right out of here. 16 charges is the max, and that's going to go all the way up to excellent quality. And after we've purified our serum, we're going to want to put it inside the inoculator. And let's go ahead and take this, put it right here, and it's going to require bees. It says there's no bee for inoculation. And high fertility serum, actually we're going to get a forest. What did I do? Let's get a forest, because that's one of the ones that we got. A forest species serum. We'll take one of those, an excellent quality, and we'll put it inside there. Now, this inoculator is going to inoculate a bee with this trait. So let's say I have this common bee. I'll put it up here, and you can store a bunch of different bees up there. Okay, and this inoculator is going to take this trait and attempt to inoculate this drone with whatever is over here. So once you start compiling and once you start isolating your bees and getting the best traits from all your bees, and keep in mind that there's not one bee that has all the best traits. There's one bee that has, the highest area of pollination or the highest area that it spreads around to. There's one bee that has the highest speed. There's maybe a couple bees that have the highest fertility, and so on and so forth. So you're going to want to watch all your bees closely. You're going to want to beealize them, and you're going to want to make sure that you get the best. Okay, I got a lifespan serum there. You're going to get a lot of temperature and humidity and so on and so forth things. Okay, this progress bar is slowly going up, and we're going to try to inoculate this bee with the forest species. That's why I said it was good to have these species serums and keep them all in a separate place just in case you lose that species, especially in the cross-breeding process. All right, and we're going to pray that this works on the first time, because it definitely doesn't always work on the first time. So we will see. And if not, we will come back to it, because there's plenty of other stuff that we have to cover. Oh, this is like watching grass grow. Okay, let's go. Almost done. So we got our excellent quality 16 charge. And once that attempts to inoculate the bee, we're going to lose a charge. It's going to drop to 15, just like I did there. It's going to have a durability bar. And we have inoculated this bee. Now, it's still sitting in front of this big inoculation needle. And that is because, why is it? Tell me. That's because it's a hybrid, and it's going to continue to try to inoculate this bee, until it turns into a purebred. So that's why it's still there. So we're going to take this, we're going to take all these bees out of here. We're going to put this back in here, and that's going to suck the common right out of this bee, and it's going to make it into a purebred. So don't be fooled just because the color changed. Again, I told you that in episode 2. Don't be fooled by the color of the bee. It still could be a hybrid. So this inoculator knows that, and it's going to attempt to get rid of that common and keep pushing the forest into it. So this set of steps here, 1 through 4, can be used to basically try to inoculate your bees, and that's going to be done by isolating different traits from your best bees and combining them all, synthesizing them up, purifying the vials, and then finally inoculating a bee to get some really good traits. And if you didn't see the last episode where I showed you one of the bees that I basically jacked up to a super bee, if we take a look at, let's say this, and these things keep disappearing, there's a princess somewhere. If we take a look at this this radioactive bee and put it inside of here, this is a massively overpowered bee. It has the longest lifespan, the fastest speed, the maximum pollination. The flowers are rocks, and I could change that to whatever I wanted. The maximum fertility, which is 4x, has a massive area effect, and it gives off this purifying aura. Okay, so that's a ridiculously overpowered bee, and you can absolutely make those. I know I cheated to get it in this tutorial, but it is possible to get. You can make some really awesome bees that produce honeycombs like there is no tomorrow. Okay, let's see. I don't know where that bee went. Oh, I took it out. That's fine. All right, we're going to move on real quick, and we're going to nail down the rest of these machines. The next one we're going to talk about is a replicator, and this is a really simple machine. Basically, all you need to do is grab some empty serum vials, put them up here on the top, and then take whatever So you have a largest territory serum. Take whatever serum that you want to make a duplicate of, or if you want to replicate, okay? And all you have to do is put it in this side, and make sure you have a bunch of power, and it's going to replicate this thing here. So there we go. These graphics are so cool. Okay, bam. Okay, it uses an empty serum vial, or maybe it emptied one out. I don't know. No, it used one. And it made this largest territory serum. Now it's empty. There's no charges to it. Just like, there's 9 charges here. That doesn't carry over, so don't think you can be sneaky and do that. But basically, you just get a couple of these. So if you have 2 inoculators going, which I would actually recommend in hindsight after breeding bees on a server for a while, that might be a good thing. So you can do a queen and a drone at once, or princess and a drone at once. Oh, it gives you a random quality too. Look at that. We're learning stuff every day here at the Minecrafters tutorial for bee breeding. Let's see here. Let's take a look at the Climatizer. This is a neat little machine, and basically this is a way to change the available habitats for a bee without, let's say, using an alveary. So what I have here is I have a tropical princess, and I have like injected the crap out of this thing with all different things. So this thing can take humidity either up 1 or down, warm, the temperature tolerance, it can be either up 4 or down 4. So this thing can survive in a ton of different climates. But let's take a look at what you can do with this machine. Let's go ahead and grab some, let's say, well, I'll grab some sand. And this is a kind of terribly slow process, but we'll take a look at it anyway. If you go ahead and let's drop a forest princess inside of here. You can basically use a bunch of different materials and inject this bee to try to acclimatize it and make it so it can survive in different areas. So right now it's temperature normal and none. It's humidity normal and none. And that is going to change. The sand is going to change the humidity, as we will find out in 1 second. But while this is going, let's take a look at what you can use inside of the Acclimatizer. If you want to raise the temperature that a bee can survive in, you can put either a lava bucket, can, or capsule inside here, and that will have a chance to raise its temperature tolerance. If you want to lower its temperature tolerance or make it so it can survive in lower temperatures, you can put some ice and some snowballs inside of here. If you want to change the humidity up, or you let the bee survive in a more humid climate, you can put water buckets, water capsule or can. And if you want to lower the humidity, like we're doing right now, that the bee can survive in, you can go ahead and put some sand in there. And some of these things take a really long time. There we go. We got it. We got it down 1, just like we said. So we wanted to lower the humidity that this bee can survive in. And this will take a bunch of sand, and this will either go up or down in, I think, up to 5 in either direction. And once you put some, let's say, sand in here, we can go ahead and raise the humidity with like a water bucket and put it in here. And what it'll do is it'll allow the bee to survive in both. It'll change to, instead down 1, it'll say both, and it will make the bee a lot more versatile. And then you can go ahead and then you can crossbreed this or make it into a purebred and have those traits passed along to other bees. So that is the Acclimatizer, and I really think that's it. I know I feel like I've only scratched the surface of genetic engineering, but there is a huge possibility of things that you can get. Look at all these serums. I have 6 pages of all different types of stuff, all different types of species, effects, temperature tolerances, humidity tolerances, territory, flowering, lifespan, speed, all sorts of stuff. And basically it all starts with this inoculator and a little bit of this liquid DNA, and you just want to start extracting traits out of bees. Get the ones you want, save those serum vials, make sure you don't lose them, start inoculating your bees, and eventually you can create those super bees like we just saw. All right, I think that's it. I'm probably going to remember something that I didn't go over in this series a little bit later on. but I'll have to live with that, I guess, for now. I don't think there's going to be an episode 7 with computer craft bee breeding programs, but that, I guess, remains to be seen. For now, there will not be. I want to thank everybody for watching this entire series all the way through. If you have, we do have typically longer tutorial videos than a lot of other people out there, but that's because we want to include every available bit of information in our tutorials that we can possibly jam in there. So, yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. Off in the distance, we can see the Railcraft tutorial building being built, and I'm not sure when that will be out. That's going to take me a while. Railcraft is huge. I don't particularly like it, but it's been heavily requested. So that's it. This is the bee breeding tutorial. We've talked about the basics. We've talked about crossbreeding. We've talked about frames, and we've watched on camera as we bred up all the way to imperial and industrious bees. We've checked out the alveary. We've looked at automation. And finally, we've just gone through genetics and all these crazy machines. And this is a huge mod, and it's really fun to play with. And I hope you enjoy it just as much as I have. As you can see, I've made this huge building for it. And that's about it. If you like the video and if you like the series, please don't forget to subscribe and definitely give us a thumbs up. It goes a long way. Check out all of our social media outlets here. We are very active on Facebook. We have a lot of information on our website, including this whole tutorial series. And a lot of other cool stuff. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for choosing the Minecrafters Bee Breeding Guide. And as always, guys, stay poised.